Im dritten Video der Robocash-Reihe spreche ich mit 3 führenden Mitarbeitern der Gruppe in Kemerovo, und zwar mit Dmitry Balakhnin, dem Strategic Communications Officer, dann mit Viacheslav Chvoro, dem Head of Analytical Center, und am Ende noch mit Makarov, dem CEO von Zaymer, dem großen Kreditgeber aus Russland. Ich habe euch hier nur die Highlights zusammengeschnitten, um das Ganze so ein bisschen interessanter für euch zu machen. Das heißt, die Fragen und Antworten, wo ich dachte, die sind super interessant für euch. Und ja, ihr könnt da navigieren über die Timestamps, die ihr in den Shownotes bzw. der Videobeschreibung findet. Viel Spaß dabei!
I am a Strategic Communications Director, and I am in charge of communications with our key target audience. They are investors and representatives of government and our customers. And I can say that my mission is making transparency between our company and the investors, because investors should know about processes which company has, and about our figures, about results of company activities. And on the other hand, our top management has to know what investors think about company, and it's a kind of feedback, and I'm doing my best to provide this feedback for our top management.
Nice to meet you in Russia. Willkommen zu Russland.
Danke.
It's really a great honor to take you like as representative of investors community, European investors community. So I hope it will be not only interesting, but maybe even exciting journey, exciting adventure being here in Russia.
I hope so, yeah.
So what about Analytical Center? Let's say that our work isn't only P2P area. So we are working at fields which are interesting for whole our group. So let's say it may be fintech industry, or unbanked and underbanked population, or microfinance area, and something like that. So, but I wouldn't say that P2P is only the top of the iceberg or something like that, because we can see the rising of interest of European investors to our platforms. So this direction becomes more and more important in our work. So what to us, Analytical Center, we are just two, me and Alexandra, you can see here in Novosibirsk when you will be there. Mm-hmm. But also we sometimes took help of outsourced analysts too. So, and we are making various research, various reviews for internal use, but mostly for foreign and Russian media.
My name is Makarov, and I am CEO of Zaymer. We are situated in Russia, in Kemerovo, and Russia is the heart and the main engine of Robocash Group. We are an online lending company, and we have our history started in 2013. Our company was originated here in Kemerovo, and since that time we are growing as a leader of microfinance industry in Russia. For now, we are top 1 company in Russia according to official ratings, and by volumes, and by sales volumes, by amount of portfolio. And microfinance is our main strategy and our main business. So actually, pleased to meet you, Lars, and ready to answer your questions.
So why should investors choose Robocash instead of, let's say, Twino or Peerberry?
Okay, it's an interesting question. May I tell you a little bit more about what kind of company is behind of the Robocash platform.
Yes, of course.
I would like to tell you about Robocash Group company, and it's very interesting in terms of products, in terms of countries which company operates, and because Robocash as a platform is connected with Robocash Group very closely. And I can say that Robocash is a part of Robocash Group, and Robocash is an international fintech company, and it operates throughout the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Spain, Russia, and Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm.
And it has its own investment platform with peer-to portfolio model, which is registered in Croatia and operates throughout the European Union and Switzerland. In terms of products, it's we deal with buy now pay later product and salary loans and personal loans, installment loans, and credit line loans. And these products have diverse terms and diverse interest rates, and it can meet just diverse needs of our customers. Mm-hmm. And for example, personal loans we launched in 2014. It was quite a lot of years ago, but for example, such products like buy now pay later, salary loans, we launched in December of last year. And now we can see that profitability of unit economics, we have reached profitability of unit economics, and we are ready to scale these products. Credit line, it's a product this credits in cash. We launched it in the Philippines. Mm. And I forgot to say that buy now pay later and salary loans was launched in the Philippines, and it's maybe our preferable market, kind of. And credit lines was launched in the Philippines, and we are going to reach profitable unit economics as well and scale this product in other countries.
What do you mean with profitability on the unit? Because your group is already profitable, right? So you just looking on the product itself. If you say we plan to be profitable in let's say next year or something like this.
Yes, as a group we're a profitable company, but when we talk about just separate products and particular products, as I said, buy now pay later and salary loans, it was a new products for us. Yeah. Of course, first thing we have to do that reach profitable unit economics. It concerns only just particular these products. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a big success to reach profitability for these new products. It means that we are ready to scale these products, and we understand this model perfectly, and we know how to do it. Mm. And we are ready to scale on in other areas.
But let's come back to the main question. I asked you what is the difference from Robocash to the other P2P platforms from the investor side. So what would you say? What is the difference? Why should an investor choose Robocash instead of Twino or even?
Yes, my introduction of Robocash Group wasn't just casually. I can say that the platform Robocash and our group is connected closely with each other. And I think that our advantage of Robocash platform that it's a part of stable and profitable big holding, international holding, and we have just single top management which can control every company of the group. And I think that decisions of top manager will not allow to have some kind of negative situations because every company and all processes are under control of just single team of top management. It's an advantage, I think, and because it allows to control loan originators very well, and it allows to provide additional guarantee, I can say, in terms of stability and profitability of the whole group. Of course, we have such guarantee like buyback guarantee, and in terms in point of view our lawyers, it's enough actually, but investors would like to have additional warranty, additional guarantee, and I think that being is a part of a stable and fast developing company, international company, it's additional point for having trust to the platform.
And we see recently a drop of interest rate on nearly all P2P platforms, maybe except the very new ones because they have to advertise with a high interest rate. What is the reason for the drop, and do you think the interest rate will go down further?
Okay. No, really, I'd say that we don't see the drop of interest rates in general, at least recently. Yes, we have some examples of Robocash, for example, or I don't know, some other platforms, but we can see also the increase of some platforms like DoInvest, for example, too. But if we compare the situation with the situation of the last year, yes, really, we can see that the times when interest rates are high, they are over. So, and we think that, by the way, it's a very important sign for the market, because it becomes more, let's say, more reasonable, more conservative, maybe even. So it's a good sign. The reputation of the market is becoming better.
Okay, so you issued your first loan in 20.
We issued our first loan in 2014, and as a good tradition. We think it's a good tradition that first loan was not repaid, and actually our founder Sergey Sedov tried to collect the first loan by himself. So it is a very interesting part of our business and very crucial part of our business collection. So he tried to speak with the customer to convince her to pay the loan. And why we think it's a good tradition? Because our financial statements. Actually, we are the first company in Russia to have such profits. We have very good CIR and P&L sheets, and but the first loan was not paid off. So that's why we think it's a good tradition to have the first loan not paid back for another businesses that we launched in countries of our groups.
Okay, so Sergey has a lot of knowledge about collection.
Yeah,
looks like.
Yeah, of course he has a very broad experience.
I can say that previous year was quite successful for us,
yep.
Including the fact that a lot of investors changed their imagination, perception of our platform, about our platform. Yeah, and it was a chance for us to prove our reliability, which we really have, and our responsibility. And just our platform is not aspired to make money on its activity. It's part of the holding, and it's designed for providing funds for development on the group. And in terms of this, we are very clear for investors, and we are very transparent for investors, and we are ready to do it in the future.
So we heard in the interview with Dmitry that the high interest rate is always also some warning signal, I would say. Out of your data, what would you say when we see particular interest rate, where we should be very cautious? What at 15% or 14%? What could be dangerous for the investor?
It's, you know that it's difficult to say. So be cautious. Be ready to have some problems with if the interest rate is more than 15%, let's say.
Okay.
It depends mostly on financial results, you know, reputation, of current degree of absence of problems with investors, so on. It's difficult to say. But let's say the middle average level, it's a sign. Anyway, it's a sign. So close plus minus 2-3% to this middle level, it's no, in average, it's a signal, it's a good sign for that. Yep. These platforms are, they are in the market, let's say so.
And you as Zaymer, you are completely focused just on Russia, right? Just on the Russian market?
Yeah, absolutely. We work as a Russian microfinance company, and our main regulator is the Central Bank of Russia, also as the main regulator for our banking system, and we work only with Russian citizens. So yes, if we speak about Robocash Group and the part of the Zaymer in Robocash Group, Zaymer is approximately 60 or 70% speaking of revenue, for example, or profit. So Zaymer is a main part of Robocash Group, and it is most profitable and most old and most well-organized business in Robocash Group. They in other countries are trying to duplicate Zaymer business model and actually improve it. So it is online business, and everywhere where Robocash has its businesses, we are trying to find new way to have our business better and better.
So this is an example, and you try to build more robots in other countries?
Yes, and with experience we have in other countries, we improve Zaymer as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, it's also
vice versa.
A good topic.
I would like to say that now we understand that the market at the stage when it's not needed to increase interest rate, because the last year showed that this investment market is quite reliable, and investors realized this. It's this market is quite stable, compared to, for example, other investment market. And it just, I think that now the market has a kind of balance between interest rate and between reliability which different platform can provide. There is vice versa. Is, for example, any platform is going to provide higher interest rate, this is point to think about it, to check this platform additionally, to learn its financial statements.
We saw some platforms that are now regulated. Would you say this has also an effect on the interest rates? That because the investment is now more secure, maybe, or more conservative?
At the first, I want to say that Baltic platforms, of course, they are a very important part of our current European market, P2P market, yes. And the news on this market, they really affect on the whole situation. But we should not be ready to these changes immediately. It needs time. It needs time to launch this long-term process.
Because I guess if we have this regulation in place, the P2P platforms are also interesting more for institutional investors. And if they are coming in, then maybe the interest rate will also going down.
Maybe, why not? Maybe, yes. Of course, regulation. Any regulation has its aim to give more warranties for investors, for clients. Yes, and this really can affect on percent rate in the future. But here, as we think, and we are deeply assured, let's say so, that the more important question here is common European regulation, not only national one.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it is a perspective of a really close future to us. Maybe next year, and I don't know. No, it's very close. We can see already that crowdfunding regulation is already appearing last year, November, and the law was approved. So P2P is the next, maybe. So and it is more important question here. So sooner or later we all European platform will be under common regulation.
Okay, so you said it's 60 to 70% of the Robocash group, but why we don't see Russian loans on Robocash? I think we see some in the statistics, some loans from the past, but now we have just other countries, but not Russian countries, Russian loans.
It is a very good questions, and of course funding is a very crucial source of development for the lending company. The first and major our funding instruments, it's our profit that we left, that Sergei Sidov left in the company and reinvest every year. So we try to have a P2P platform, and we tried this in 2018. We were originator of the platform and arranged some amount of money. But after this, we started to implement another possibilities that our company as a major business in Russia has. So it's funding from the banks. It's possible for us in Russia to have funding in the banks, and it is more safe to lend in rubles, as it is our currency of business. So we don't have any currency exchange risks if we take loans from Europe, which is, of course, euro-ruble risk. And after that, as the next major step, we came to public market And this year we became public company, and now we have our bonds originated in Russian major stock exchange, Moscow Stock Exchange. So for now we have fully originated as a major financial company here in Russia.
Regarding the audited report, I got a comment yesterday that you just published, I think, 5 sites, 5 pages of the audited report, but not the full audited report. So investors would like to see the whole report. So I'm not sure why you did this. Investors think all the time, okay, there is something to hide. So if you have nothing to hide, you can publish also the whole report. Is it possible?
Yes, I have an answer to your question. Actually, we can understand exactly what kind of purposes investor have when they want to have a full report, audited financial report. As far as I know, we already gave information that we are ready to send our full financial report for investors who are ready to invest in us at least $2 million. It's a reasonable point. For example, okay, we are a transparent company. I agree, but there are a lot of competitors who would like to see our full report as well. And it's a tricky point, I agree. Yeah. And of course, we are ready to provide our full financial statements for D&A, under D&A. And of course, if we understand exactly that this investor has intentions to invest to us at least $2 million. It's for retail investor who invest quite small amount of money, I'm not sure that it's needed really. Just some curiosity. That's all.
Yeah, you have to understand that the people are very careful because of all the scams we had in the Baltics, and so they want always to see as much as possible. But the guys who invest more than 2 million euros on Robocash, they can request it, right?
Yes, we had such cases. Yes, under D&A, so that we are sure that this investor is not going to share this information with anybody.
What is your view on the P2P industry right now overall? Because probably you heard also about the scams in the Baltics in 2019, 2020, and I think this damaged this whole industry a bit.
I will agree with you, but not in the terms of damage, but let's say some negative influence of the market. But in whole, what we can see? We can see that the time of crisis are over. Last year, I mean, this COVID. The market is growing, it's steadily growing, let's say almost from month to month. The confidence of investors is growing too, as we can say in our results. So it's the main point, let's say, the main point in in current market position. So in the forecast is positive, let's say so, according to this.
So you talked about regulation. Regulation is also always a topic also in the community. So especially with Russia, investors are worried about that something could happen with the government, that the government says, okay, you are not allowed to do this anymore. Is it a danger, you would say, for Zaymer?
It's a very crucial question, and of course it's very important for everybody to understand what are the risks and how we deal with them. Actually, according to Central Bank of Russia, amount of people who are clients of microfinance company for this summer 2021, it's 11.5 million people in our country are the customers of microfinance company. So in every country there is citizens who are clients of banks and who cannot be the clients of banks in terms of credits. So banks won't give any loans to a special part of the population. It means that should be such institute that can solve the problems, give the customers what they need, and it's microfinance. In Russia, it's a very big part of economy. I mean, comparing to the number of populations of Russia, which approximately 130 million, and if we speak about working populations, it's approximately 80 or 90 million. So 11.5 million, it's very significant part of population that have opportunity to lend online, to solve their needs concerning money online, and that's why for central bank it's very important to have this part of economy regulated and not close it, not close the possibility for such a lot amount of people to stop financing, because it will be a social tragedy if a lot of people won't have possibility to have money, because banks won't give them money that's connected with the regulation, first of all.
So let's come to another important topic. This is also the future of Robocash, and this is the regulation. So we see more and more platforms in the Baltics are being regulated. I think last week it was Mintos and Twino. What about Robocash? So you said before your company is in Croatia, so there's probably no need for regulation, or how is your plan? Because you told me that you want to build up trust, but also a lot of investors, of course, want to see a regulated platform, and at this time Robocash is not a regulated platform.
First of all, investors would like to see a profitable company, regardless platform or another tool. First of all, I can say that we are ready to be regulated, actually, but our model is different. This is peer-to portfolio model, and it requires some special conditions for regulations, because we have been looking for regulation which fits under our model, but we haven't succeeded right now. But we are ready and we continue our searching. In terms of reliability, I think that our platform doesn't have disadvantages compared to another platform, including you said above, which trying to fall under regulation or just have right now. Maybe it's a point of time. Maybe we don't against of regulation, but it has to be reasonable. And it has to fit under our model. First of all.
So we see some platforms, or let's say we see during COVID-19 good and bad platforms. The good ones are rising like hell, I would say. I'd say Robocash is also one of the winners of the crisis. And there are also some platforms closed down or making a lot of mistakes. What would you say? What are the three biggest mistakes in the crisis, and on the other hand, the three biggest, let's say, best practices the good platforms did?
Yes, we did some analysis on this account, and my personal opinion to The main mistake is a lack of transparency. Dmitry told about it a lot, and I absolutely agree with him. Transparency is the key. If you're talking about top three, no, let's say that the second one is there were not enough fluid, not enough flexible. They weren't ready. I'm talking about, no, let's say bad platforms, right? And losers. Were not enough flexible, that weren't ready to change themselves into this difficult situation. And the third reason, I'd say that some platforms, in the opposite, they took too much attention to all this hype. But the leaders, they, from one hand, they be flexible enough, but they were confident enough to, let's say so. So in the opposite, the platforms who has these opportunities and who paid attention to these points, they survived.
I would like to say that it's very good opportunity for me that you came here and you have interest in our group, in our company, and it's pleasure for me to speak about this, because I really think that online business and development of technology in general on the planet and in Russia in general will help us to give our customers more and more, and the more products will be to them online. And I think we, as a strong player on online markets, will be happy to see new investors on board, and of course a lot of new customers on board also. So I wish all customers and investors be well and safe in these COVID times, and I think stay with Robocash and everything will be fine.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.